Hi, this is Dennis Dalton, a safety officer for Peterson Rocky Mountain Flight Training Center. Um, this is for the safety briefing for Tuesday, March 28th. This is our title slide, manager presentation, certs and solos, which is all of these items are in the paper copy of the briefing page. This March one is about Hangar 133 parking operations, which Neil has put together an arrangement that he would prefer to have done and has spoken on this in the past, and we decided to make a permanent safety briefing of this so it could be referred to rather than having to address it at every briefing. So on the outset here, a lot of times it's referred to as the north, south, east, and west wall, but the hangar operations, the south being the front doors, but the hangar is obviously oriented parallel to the 3113, so the northeast wall is referred to as north wall, and so on. It's because of the way it's oriented, but that's just a clarification because that's the way that I have labeled them on here, and Neil refers to that as well as north, south, east, and west wall. So just wanted to clarify that and give you that orientation again. So on the east wall parking, you notice that there's 3 planes in the picture here. Now, this is the D, this is a C, and this is Charlie. The 182s are not in here. That is to be addressed later because they have a different stance. And so these are all markings on the pavement for the T41s. And I'm referring to these two. This one, generally, this corner and the other corner on the north wall are maintenance airplanes, but I'll just refer to these two as we're talking about clearances and other things. So this plane here, and one thing to notice right in here is one of the reasons for this is so these planes are straight, so that this could be pulled out without interfering with anything. And especially, when Neil comes in and he has all this, a lot of maintenance to do, not having to move the planes all around is very helpful in order to get something done. East wall detail, planes centered on pans. Centered on the pan. This is the pan, the wheel is in the center. This is the pan, the wheel is in the center, this way. In the blue squares with chocks. I'll have other details of these later. Also, these are different types of chalk used differently, and I will talk about that in a little bit here. Chalk one wheel front and back, as in the left picture. You notice right here. So it can't really roll forward or backward. Not the back two. Well, I have back 2 wheels from the right picture because it could roll forward. Now the hangar, of course, depending on where you are, has a slant to it. And so while that may not be an issue in this particular position, doing that is not a good idea at all, as that will not stop it from moving parts somewhere else. This is the rear of the east wall aircraft. And you notice on the right picture here, the rear view of planes parked on the east wall with planes centered on the wheel marks. There's plenty of safe room, and planes can be pulled directly out to the center without hitting other planes. This, of course, is a cart and the wall. You can walk through here. And if you use those, which is easier to see, which is these squares here that I'm showing on the bottom picture, and putting the plane in those will assure that you have this clearance. Now, lower right, this plane is not parked in the center of the box and could be close to hitting a wall or another plane. This is not parked where it's supposed to be. If the other one is in the spot and this one is not, well, it'd be a little hard since it's off to the right, but it's in the back. Well, it could be cocked, and that could reduce the space here, and you could damage the elevator. So it's very important that these are in the center of those blue squares. That's why they're there. The north wall parking, as I said before, this is really the northeast magnetic wall, but it's north. Where generally all of the maintenance is done, because that's where all the tools are. So we have the two corner maintenance spots, and right now he's doing an oil change in here. These planes were not set up for photographs. These were set up the way Neil likes to have them set up, and they were set up this way last week during that windstorm when all the planes were inside. So this one can easily be pulled out. This clearance here is more than adequate. This clearance here is more than adequate. If this plane is gone, and this one is gone, and this one is gone, these two can very easily be pulled out to center and then out of the hangar. This is another view of the maintenance corner, looking to the north wall here. And 9/9 November, this is 9/9 November here on the right picture. And there is space to walk back here. And you got to watch this up in here, but if you are in the squares where you're supposed to be, that is not an issue. This is the correct way to put the airplane tire into the both blue boxes and to chalk one wheel in the front and the back. Spacing is close, and wheels must be parked correctly in the spaces to assure clearance, not only for not hitting the wall, but to make it easy for maintenance and other people to walk around. If someone's doing a pre-flight in the hangar, or maintenance needs to walk around and use a toolbox, do something like that, and planes are not where they have to be, that's a lot of extra time and effort to be moving things around. This was not staged, and I'll point that out each time on each of these pictures. Neil took this picture here, and this is the way he finds stuff in the morning. Pans should be centered, slightly aft of the nose wheel. Picture on the left is not acceptable. This is very crooked. The tire is half off the pan. There are two different size pans. He told me he couldn't get the long pans in Colorado Springs. I don't know if he was going which auto part. I think he said O'Reilly's. I thought I saw some long, but anyway. The pan is still slightly aft of the nose wheel, as I say here, even though it's the shorter pan. But you have to take into account there's going to be less in the front than on the longer pan also in order to catch dripping from back here. Now on to the west wall, and we have two aircraft on the west wall, two Charlies, and the maintenance Charlie over here in the corner. Correctly parked planes have ample space, especially in here. As I've pointed out before, people needing or wanting to do a pre-flight before the plane is pulled out, or any kind of discussions during private pilot training about different parts of the airplane that are done in the hangar, there's enough room to walk around the aircraft without having to bump into something or other, inconveniences that way. This is a plane properly parked in the corner. This is the south wall and the west wall, and with the nose wheel centered on the pan, slightly forward of the center. And this one also, again, has two chocks on the back of both wheels. While this does slope down here and possibly has more danger of going backwards than forwards, still the appropriate way to do that is to put one chalk in front and one in back of one wheel. West wall clearance is adequate when parked correctly in the marked spaces. Again, this is 02 November from 2 different directions. And for maintenance, having to walk back here again, or other people pre-flighting aircraft, if these are parked correctly, there is an ample room without banging in or moving stuff around on these 2 areas, which is very important and helpful, which is why we're trying to do that. I don't know, did I just hop past something? Something happened there. Well, okay, so don't do this. These are 2 of Neil's shots. Pan should be centered on the nose wheel. This one is not. It's off to the left, which means things could drip over here. Also, it's too far forward of the pan. This one is off the pan. The pan is just thrown under the aircraft. So what are the drip pans really for? To keep the floor clean. You notice all the stuff on the floor for a person working on the plane, or maybe if you had to go down and you wanted to drain the sumps. Would you want to lay in that? I mean, that's it. The issue is that, and it just gets to be quite messy and not very professional. Oil gets tracked everywhere. Pretty soon it'll get tracked into the ops room. These, again, this picture, these are not staged. These are 2 of Neil's pictures, things he finds when he comes in the morning. Whether this guy pulled the plane out or pushed it in through the oil, but you can easily see how the tracking just gets everywhere. If the pans are full of oil, and they'll get oil on the tire, and you can run that out just as well as pulling it back in. Looks to me like this one was pulled out and then pushed back in, and that's where the tracks came from. This one, again, is there's oil on the floor, and this one's obviously dripping some oil. So you're finding a lot of residue in the pans. Everyone's responsible to keep the pans clean so oil is not tracked on the floor using the shop rags. So where are the shop rags? They are on the maintenance table right here. So you pick up a rag and you clean the pan and then throw dirty rags in the trash. They don't have a cleaning service for the rags. These are just thrown away. And you know, as far as using a clean one or one that's 90% clean, I mean, if it was up to me, I would look in the trash can. If I found one that looked like it was hardly used, I'd probably grab that because Neil uses these. The maintenance guys use them when they're necessary to clean things. And so, yeah, they need a clean one. But when you're wiping up oil off of a pan, anything that's not totally dripping with oil would probably work. So, I mean, that's just my conscientious opinion. I would go in here and grab something that was, had a little life left in it. Anyway. Securing south hangar doors. I guess there's more than one way to put these in. And so Neil had some comments about these. I took these pictures, but he showed me what there's 4 ways to do this, and one's great and the other ones aren't so great. Okay, securing south hangar doors. Picture on the left is correct. You notice this bracket here does keep this, and it fits right in there perfectly like this. If it was in the hole, the tip of the handle would then lay here. And so this will keep keeps the rod from swinging out. It's also very easy to pick it up and take it out. The one on the right, the bottom could slip out. this is the least secure of the 4 positions. If it did fall down, it could, drag into this hole right over here. And that's really not a good way to do that. The doors are heavy enough without jamming something in the hole. Left, this position always jams the handle, making it difficult to remove. Neil said he sees this all too often, and you almost need a hammer to get that out of there for some reason, and I agree with him. Yes, it looks secure because the tip is down here in the corner, but man, for some reason, it just really jams itself in there, and you can't get it loose unless you really whack it with something. So do not do this. Do not do that. The right, he just threw it in there. He says, yeah, this is better than this. So it's not going anywhere, and there it is. So that would work too, not this. Microfiber rags are for windows only. Generally, that's an orientation issue from day one. They're in the cabinet over in the northwest corner of the north wall in the hallway. And please place soiled microfiber cloths in this box for laundering. That's for cleaning bugs off the windows and wherever else you want to clean them off. Okay, well, that concludes the hanger ops for this briefing. So then we have the drawing. So that's it for this one. So see you next month.